What's going on YouTube? Welcome to episode 174 of the U.S.S. Enterprise D tutorial. I'm Zero Elite and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Also, be sure to check out the Discord. I'll have a link in the description below. Discord's the best place you can go to get the latest updates regarding my channel, and also a little bit of extra content that you do not get on the YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out. I hope everybody had a fantastic Labor Day as well as a great Star Trek Day, not First Contact Day. But anyway, today we've got about a 15-minute episode. We're going to be picking up where we left off in episode 173, working on our farm that will be connected to the main mess hall. Before we do that, we're going to get into just a little bit of tiny work on the outside of the ship, and then we'll get into the main feature of today. So without further ado, let's kick back, relax, and jump right into it. So really the only thing that we're going to be doing on the outside of the ship is that I feel like on the bridge, on the outside, something's missing from it. Now this addition that I'm adding, I'm breaking canon. And I just want to be upfront with what I'm doing. This is not on the Enterprise D. But this was just my own opinion looking at the ship. I felt like the bridge was missing something. It looked too plain to me, especially in the front. I felt like it just needed one little tiny bit of detail, whether that dark gray concrete block is a window or just a stripe. You can pretty much make your own decision there, but I feel like it needed just a little piece right there just to give it just a little bit more detail. And I think it looks great. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it hurts my heart every single time I see this ship because unfortunately I lost the save file. But I mean, you know, things happen, but fortunately we've got the tutorial where the Enterprise D will live on. So we're going to be picking up right where we left off now on our main farm. Now the farm is on the other side of this wall. We're basically going to make a hub. We're going to put a wall here and we'll have a hub because on this right side here, this open space is where our mess hall will be. And then once we put this wall here going straight back, the whole wall right here on the sides where the farm's at, and I talked about this in the last episode, we're going to be deleting that wall and basically stretching out the farm all the way to the left. So what we need to do is kind of establish how big this is going to be, which we've already done. We've got our builder line on end. We're just going to bring this wall up pretty much. Now you can see what I'm doing right now. I was thinking like, well, maybe I can just stretch it out a little bit, but that's going to pose kind of a problem because I have this window here, and I really want to be able to kind of try to utilize that window if I can. So this extra layer that we're adding on here, we're going to delete this because this is pretty much the stand-in wall that I'm making, but it's not what we're going to keep. So really the only step right now that you want to follow is just getting your room in proportion and having that divided, you know, the beginning and end of it. Once we have that in place, you don't have to worry about this line. But the reason I'm showing this is just for those of you that maybe want to do it. You see this wall and you're like, okay, well, you know what? I really don't want to make my farm that big. I'm kind of happy the way it is, but maybe I'll just make it a little bit bigger. So the people who want to do that, you can definitely do that. So you can see I'm backtracking now, and we're going to delete these top two rows. And we don't have a ton of space because remember, directly above the farm is our shuttle bay. So pretty much all these blocks around us, we have our shuttle bay above us, and we have our corridors to the left and right side. So we don't have a ton of room here to work with, but we've got enough to where by the time that this is done, it'll feel just a little bit more like a farm than it really does, because right now we just kind of have our plots in place for produce and whatnot. Because the whole idea behind this would be that, you know, there's going to be some people that maybe they can't eat replicated food or they just want real food. This is where this room is going to come into play. Is this on the Enterprise D? Maybe, maybe not. But this is one of the reasons why I like to try to kind of think outside the box on what would actually be on the ship, because remember, you pull up your blueprints of the Enterprise D, it's not going to have every room labeled. You're never going to find a perfect blueprint of this ship, and it's always going to be a matter of filling in the blanks. It will be crazy that even by the time that we're done with this tutorial, everything I was able to record before I lost the save file, that there's still going to be a decent amount of room left on the ship that we haven't filled in yet. Specifically some sections of the saucer, primarily the medical deck. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to do that, and then the rear end of the lower hull. But, you know, it just kind of is what it is. But anyway, focusing on what we got going on right now, you can see that I'm deleting a row here, which is directly connected to one of our corridors. I'm just going to delete this black line because this was a builder line. We can get rid of that, but we can't get rid of the white terracotta. That has to stay there. And the whole reason I'm doing this is that so when I close it in, you won't be able to see the corridors. It would probably be a good idea to do our roof before we open up this area, because once I do, my bees are going to escape. And at this point, I probably have 6 or 7 bees cruising around my Enterprise D, making the ship their own. Rest in peace, bees, and the Enterprise D. But yeah, so we're adding another row to our wall here, and we've got the height pretty much set up. Pretty much the ceiling is going to be the bottom row of our transporter room. That's how we're going to determine that. Now you're probably going to be wondering, okay, well that's fine and dandy, but how are you going to cover those blocks up? Well, the easiest solution for that would just be to fill in the ceiling the same height as the ground, or excuse me, the same height as the floor for the transporter room, and then cover that up with half slabs. So this way you just can't see it. So what I'm doing right now is all fine and dandy, but I've built up one more row than what I really need to. We might end up using this lip though, so we might leave this here for right now. But we might have to come back again and add in another layer to the ceiling, because I think it's going to be off by 1. Actually, I'm certain at this point. But we'll cross that bridge in a moment. Let's just go ahead and get the rest of our ceiling knocked out. I know I didn't have any episodes this week. I actually was just kind of sitting here after work and I didn't have anything going on. I was like, you know what, like I want to at least get one episode out this week, because I've been making it a point that, you know, when there's a holiday, I'll take a break from doing the YouTube channel. So originally I wasn't planning on putting any videos out this week, but you know, just gonna get this one out, and next week we'll pick up our regular schedule. See, you can see one of the roaming bees thinks the ship is his, and he can just go wherever he pleases. Yeah, because you see the problem that we're going to have there. Unless we kind of layer it in, that could be an option too, or maybe we add a single row of full blocks going around the transporter room. We can kind of cover it up with half slabs. That could be an option. And then another thing too is what I originally said, is that we just bring it down one more row to match the height of the bottom level of the transporter room. Really the main focus right now is filling in the ceiling so that this way we can delete that wall, because otherwise our bees will escape. We'll have to hunt them down, kill all of them, and then respawn them. And it doesn't really make sense to do all that, so we're just going to fill all this in first. Now that we do, now we can start to take down this wall. And I don't want you to worry about the computer consoles that we have right here that we're deleting right now, because right where those were, we're going to have the walkway to get over to the other side. So it's just going to work out. Now what you're going to see is that once we delete this wall, it's actually going to open this room up so much more than what we had before. The right side will remain exactly how it is. The left side will end up being more of like a grassy area where you can spawn in a couple of animals. Maybe we'll throw down a park bench so people can come in if they want to. So it'd be kind of like a combination of a farm slash recreational place to come and unwind. It's one of the things I did because somebody might say, well, you know, you're going to be building out your park. Why not just put the animals there and just have it all in one? I really didn't want to do that. I kind of wanted to separate them just a little bit. So the park that we'll build at a later time does not have any animals in it. It's just, you know, trees, and I think there's a waterfall in there as well. Yeah, see, now we're doing what I suggested that we needed to do, that we're filling in the ceiling to match in the layer of the transporter pad. Because unfortunately, if we don't do that, it's just not going to look right, you know? The ceiling won't look perfect. It won't be completely flat. And we don't have a lot of room to work with, but we have enough that we can kind of make it work. We also can't delete anything, and I just lost a bee to my transporter room. Oh, he came back. All right, we're good. I tell you, you got to be careful with those bees. They're a little escape artists. As soon as they see a hole, they go for it, as you just saw. Now, all this flooring that we have here, for those of you that think I want to save you the trouble of having to revert to a previous save file or trying to rebuild this, all these blocks here, we can't delete any of these because these are hull blocks. So we have to basically add in a layer on the floor here. You're probably wondering, like, okay, well, what are we going to do to get in some grass? Easiest solution for that would be just to use green carpeting. Green carpeting can easily double as grass, and it's not going to be a big deal. And see, even right here, what we need to do is just get the half slab to match up the exact one that we have. Fill that in, and then don't worry about it not matching the floor. We'll fill that in with, we'll cover that up with the carpeting. What we can maybe do, and you can do this as well, just to see how it looks, we could add in grass where we can add it, and then the areas that we can't, then we can use carpeting. That's an option too. Now, the reason I'm adding this lip there is because we're going to have to come up by one. So we're going to have to step up when we come into this area, because remember, we can't delete any of the blocks that are underneath us that are directly behind us, because those are hull blocks. Now, see, we're going to fill in our ceiling here with half slabs. This way, to make it all nice and neat, you won't be able to see the transporter pad by the time all these are put in. Just a nice, easy way to cover up some stuff when you don't have a lot of space to work with. You'd be surprised what you can do with half slabs and carpeting. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, Enterprise D, it was an interesting build to do. I've never done a ship at this scale before, and I've never done one that had multiple decks in the saucer section. So, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of room to do everything I wanted to, but like where we're at right now, I'm adding in stuff to where I don't have that much room to work with, so I'm having to use building techniques that I haven't really necessarily had to use for the majority of this build. So we're in pretty good shape right now. We're going to fill in our grass. We're not going to get this whole room done today. We've only got about just under 2 minutes left. We'll fill this in, and then I'll start the carpeting, and you guys can finish that off camera with me, and then we'll pick up in episode 175. But there are still some cool things coming up on this build. I believe we still have the fencing area where Picard often spent a lot of his recreational time on the Enterprise D. We'll have the racquetball area that we'll be building out, the park, and then the main mess hall. And I think one of the last things that we'll do is one of the observation decks that they used where they, anytime like they had a concert or something like that. And then I think it will wrap up this build. Because like I said, I lost the save file, and unfortunately there's just nothing I can do to get that back or pick up where we left off unless I rebuild this thing. And that'll take a significant amount of time. So what will happen is we'll run through the rest of these episodes, and then from there we'll go right into Voyager. I think they're probably at this point. I could probably say that there is probably going to be a little bit of a gap between the Enterprise D and Voyager. I don't think that'll be a bad thing. I think it'll be good for myself and for the channel. Give everyone a chance to kind of recharge their batteries from building, and this way when Voyager comes around, we'll jump right into it. But I can't say it won't take too long. I've been saying that I'm going to start it, and I haven't yet, but I've been doing this intentionally because I've spent a year and a half working on the Enterprise D, consistently putting out videos. I need to take a little bit of a breather break from doing videos and building on Minecraft, but more than likely probably what's going to happen is that I'll probably start Voyager when we're at the end of the Enterprise D, and there may be like a couple of weeks between series to go from one to the next. But anyway, so you can see I started my line here with the green carpeting. I didn't cover in our window. We're going to use that. But all these white blocks here, we're going to fill these in with the green carpet. So if you want to, what you can do, if you want to fill in all this green air, the actual grass with the carpeting to make it all one color, you can do that. Or if you want to be able to put mushrooms down and things like that, now you have both, where you have your grass on one side and then the carpeting on the other. But I think that's going to wrap us up today. Just kind of a quick episode to get some prep work done, so when we come back, we can wrap this room up. But I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. And if you did enjoy this content, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Also, new subscribers, don't forget to hit notifications on so you get notified when those new videos drop. And speaking of new videos, you can always catch my new Minecraft episodes dropping Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you have any questions regarding today's episode, be sure to drop a comment below or in Discord. If you have any build suggestions, be sure to join the Discord, because I am not taking any build suggestions on my YouTube channel because there's no way for people to vote on it from the YouTube. So if you're going to be joining the YouTube for that, be sure when you join the Discord you click on build suggestions. This way you can add your whatever build you'd like to see me do, and people within the Discord, they can upvote it. And the next time we do another community build, we'll be using that poll to gauge off of that. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section, and have a great weekend.